So in this video we are going to cover indexing and selecting in any data set using Pandas library. So if you are dealing with any machine learning project, then definitely there you will see a data set. Now how to take rows and columns, different values, subset of data set and different operations related to indexing and selecting. So we are going to cover all these things. So मैं क्या करता हूँ, मैंने यहाँ पे जुपिटर नोटबुक ओपन किया है. सो जस्ट लेट मी एक्सप्लेन द कोड एंड ऑल दी ऑपरेशंस. सो वी आर यूजिंग बैंक कस्टमर डेटा सेट. इस डेटा में किसी भी बैंक कस्टमर से रिलेटेड इंफॉर्मेशन है, लाइक कस्टमर आईडी, क्रेडिट स्कोर, द कंट्री दैट बिलोंग्स द कस्टमर, कस्टमर जेंडर, एज, टेन्योर, हाउ मेनी ईयर्स ही हैज़ विद इन दिस बैंक, दैट बैंक. उसके बाद बैलेंस, प्रोडक्ट्स नंबर एंड अ लॉट ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन. बट वी डोंट नीड टू familiarize with all this information because we just performing indexing and selecting different operations on this data set. So what if I'm interested in single column? So I can just say that df age और यहाँ पे एक variable बना के I can take that single column. Okay, so now this will be your series. Now what if I'm interested in selecting multiple columns? Now these are all the columns and I'm interested to select only credit score and country and gender. Let's say I'm interested in these three columns. What I can do, df, within df I'll pass a list, and within this list I will mention all that column that I need. Okay, and it will give me a subset of these columns. Now let's perform filtering and select customer who are females and their credit score greater than 7,000. This is called filtering. So today we perform a lot of filterings and indexing. अब ये मुझसे क्या कह रहा है कि आपने उन फीमेल्स को निकालने हैं जिनकी क्रेडिट स्कोर ग्रेटर देन 700. So you have to use here filtering. So I have a variable by the name of filter df. Now within df I am passing condition. This is my first condition for now. Just consider this is my first condition, and this is my second condition. Okay, this is my second condition. I am performing within df filtering on the basis of condition, performing filtering on the basis of condition, and I am performing here two conditions, first and second. In first condition I am saying that within df I have a gender column. If it is equal to female, then take all that rows, and I also check that within the same df I have another column, credit score. If the credit score is greater than 700, then only take those females. Okay, and after that I am taking only these three columns. So when I print this, you will see that this is the gender and there will be all around female because we set female in condition. In age we are taking the age column. In credit we are taking only those credit score that are more than or greater than 700. So you can take a subset on using filtering with different conditions. Now selecting specific columns by their names. So very simple, just df and credit score is your column. Now there are a lot of ways to do that, but this is the simple one. Now how to filter rows based on specific condition. So this is the data, and in this data we have a lot of rows. This is first row. Okay, this is first row, second row, third row. Okay, so for now what I can do, I can again use filtering as we already did. So just let me cut this portion and run all above so we can understand. Oops, I run all. Selecting, just let me show you. This is the df. It says that name df is not defined. Why? if is defined. So let me run all these cells so that okay. Now here you can see I am taking all the rows on the basis of country, where the country equal to France. Now in this country there are a lot of countries, but I am taking only those rows that contain France. Okay, so it will be like this, as you can see. Now just let me show you a couple of other things related to the same. Just let me cut this part and let me uncomment and run it. Now here what I am doing, again I am doing filtering with conditions, but this time different, like if country is equal to France as well as active number is equal to 1. Now here active is a column within this data. This is the active number that the customer is currently working right here or not. So you can do that as well. Lastly, what you can do in filtering while taking rows, again you can do the same. So this is again the same thing, but I just want to perform this thing different times so that you can understand. So there should be like this thing. Okay, so I'm taking all the male with balance greater than 1,40,000. okay, so above this salary I'm taking all those male. So let's perform related to something, selecting specific rows or columns using labels with LOC. Now LOC is a function in Pandas that you must have used, but here what I can do, just let me show you this. This is the data set, and within this data what I am taking, if I run this, I am taking France. What does it mean? For now just let me cut this thing, and if I put here 0, it's mean that I am taking this entire row. So LOC means location. You can take any row while passing the index of that row within this LOC, but what I am taking only country. Okay, so if I run it, then it will take France within the same row. Within the same row it will take this thing, okay, this country name, that is France. Now if I want to take balance from the same row, now let's say this time we have first row. If I show the first row, just let me cut this part. This is the first row, and within this first row I'm taking this value. So I'll specify this balance. Balance is nothing, it's your label or column, so I'm taking that balance. You can do the same thing with multiple columns within the LOC. It's mean that if I'm interested, just let me show you. If I cut this part, this is the first row. I can take more than one row by specifying this indexing 1 2 3. So I'm taking first row, second row, 3 row, but I want to take these 3 columns. Okay, these 3 column values from these 3 rows. So I can pass a list of labels, or you can say columns. So this will be product number. I'm taking let's say I am taking from credit score. I'll explain, okay, until age. So I am taking first 3 row from 1 to 3, but I'm not interested in this ID or other columns. I'm only interested that take those rows values that are within credit score until age. So I am taking this columns values, okay, like this one. Just let me run it. Now you will take that portion within the same 3 rows, but I am taking this 3 column portion or values. So up यहाँ पे you can also pass within a list. Just let me show you the same thing you can do within a list. You can pass the rows within a list, and you can pass the columns within a list, and it will perform the same operation. Okay, so you can do a lot of things. It depends on your logic and problem domain. Now selecting all of the rows and some columns. So when you using LOC, location, first time you pass here 1, it means that I am taking only the first row. If you pass colon, it means that you are taking entire data rows. Let's say in this data we have 1000 rows. It means that I am taking all the rows. but you can specify here a portion of columns. I'm taking all the rows only from these 3 columns. Okay, so as you can see, let's talk about that. We can also do the same thing with ranges. What if I select a range? Sometime what happen if I show you, oops, just let me right here. Sometime what happens, we just give me a second, right here. Now I am using the same LOC, but I am specify range. Okay, so if you use tell and pass 3, it will give you the last 3 rows. Now I can do the same thing when you use head. When you use head and specify 3, it means that you are taking the first 3 rows, but if you want to display the last 3 rows, then for that you use tell. Okay, this is the tell. Now what if I can do the same thing with LOC, then I'll specify this row number till the last, so it will grab the last 3 values. Okay, as you can see, sorry, not values, rows. So you can specify range of your rows. Just let me show you another example of the same. Let's say in my data I am going to select all rows, but first means I am leaving first 100 rows, and I'm selecting all other rows but the first 100 rows. So it will start from 100. Okay, and it will skip the first 100 rows. So it's mean that you can specify a range of your rows. Now select specific rows or columns using integer based position with iloc. Now this is another function that is called integer location. Okay, the first was location, this is integer location. They are same, they do the same thing, but here you can specify integer. In LOC we specify column with the names, but here you can specify, let's say I'm going to select first 3, 4, 5 rows. Okay, selecting all of the rows and some columns. Okay, so I am taking 3rd row, 4th row, 5th row in this list. But what if here I specify that only take this column rows or values. Now this is 0 and this is 1, so I'll specify here 1, so it will take credit score rows. Now I can do the same thing with like this. I can specify the name of that column, but that time you have to use LOC, not integer LOC, matlab integer location. So when you use integer location, then you have to specify integer number. So I am specify here 1, let's say a 2nd column as well and 3rd column as well, so it will take country, gender as well. Okay, next what you can do, as you can see here, we have this perform the same operation but for 3rd column, that is gender. Means 4th, 5th, 6th, we need 6th row, 4th rows, 6th, 5th and 6th rows, but of 3rd column. Okay, now retrieving all rows and some columns by iloc method. This is the same again as LOC, all the rows but 1st and 2nd column. Okay, as you can see, if I show you, we are taking all the rows but just for the 2 columns that we mentioned. You can do the same thing with negative slicing. Just let me show you negative indexing or slicing. So this is the df head. Let me show you the first row. Now within this df we have last column churn. When you specify -1, it means that you are indexing from right side. Negative mean negative side, okay, or right side you can say. So here just let me show you df dot integer location and take first 2 rows of last column or negative slicing, as you can see. Now here if I take all the rows, then it will take all the rows. So I am doing the same thing here, right? I am taking first and second rows. Last will be excluded. Okay, when you mention here 3, so it will take 1 to 2, third 3 will be excluded, okay, of last column. What if I here specify 2, then it will be second last column. df dot head, let me show you the first row. We are taking actually this estimated salary, this salary, okay, compare this salary with this, but we are taking 2 rows of this column estimated salary. So all these things are similar. For now let me ignore that. Now slicing data based on integer ranges, with as we used ranges within LOC location wise, you can do the same in integer location. So I am going to take all the rows from that are started from 40 until 100. So actually I'm taking 60 rows, as you can see, started from 40 until 99. Okay, now extracting specific values from a data frame using add, integer add or values. This is the last portion of this video, an interesting function, this too. They actually do the same. So if I show you the data set, this is the data. Now I want to take, let me remove this portion. I want to take the first, it's error, what does it mean? Okay, here it takes 2 things. You have to specify the label as well. You can take specific value. You can do the same thing with LOC and integer location, but you can use at function as well. Now here I am interested to take this value, okay, 600 at, that is within this credit score. So first I'll specify the row number, that is 1. So let's do it, make it 1, and I'm taking only this value, not the entire row. So I'll specify the column name, and you can do the same thing with location. Okay, now if you use this at is similar to location, and this integer at is similar to integer location, iloc. Okay, so here I am taking the first row, that is 0 row, and first column, so it will take me a single value, that is this one. Okay, just let me show you. This column is located at index 0 and this column is located at index 1. I am specifying this row number within this entire row. I'm just taking this value by specifying this column index, that is 1. And if you want another, so from third column you can take female within this 0 row. Let's do accessing data at different levels of a multi-index. Now this is the last part. Sometime you have a data set with multiple indexing. So I have created a dummy data using dictionary. Within this I've specified columns. This is my first group, and within this group I have a column A, and within the same group I have a column B, and this is the value that belongs to this column A, and these are the values that belongs to this column B, and the same thing I have done for group 2. Then I have converted this data into Pandas data frame, and if you have watched my third video, I have explained in detail data frame and series. Then I have given the name. Okay, so let me print the data. This is the data. Now this data is contain multi-indexing. This is the group, and this group has 2 columns, actually 2 subgroups, group 1 and group 2, and within this group subgroups, group 1 and group 2, there are another group, or you can say column, or you can say index. Actually this is the index and this is the column, this is the sub index, and these are the sub columns. Okay, and these are the sub indexing of this sub index subgroup, and these are the values for these columns. Now if I show you group 1 just within this df, it will give me A and B, because A and B column belongs to group 1. If I show you df group 2, then this is the second group. but I am interested to take group 1 first column, so I can do this multi-indexing. This is called multi-indexing, or you can say filtering. Actually this is not filtering, but we can say that this is multi-indexing. So df, within this df I have a index. Actually this is an index group 1, or you can say column, sub-column. Now within this sub-column we have another sub-column, that is a. I am going to take that, and these are the values of that column. And you can take all the rows using LOC of group 1b column. Okay, this is the result. So you can perform a lot of operation. Now here you can again you can specify, take all the rows of group 2 C column until group 2 D column. So you will take this portion as well. So yeah, it was the video in which we have covered indexing and selecting different parts of dataset. So if you have enjoyed this video, then please subscribe to my channel and also like this video.